We need a change. It's time to rearrange the way we use technology. It's time to break the chains. AI can be the key if we use it responsibly to uplift the black and brown creative community. No more bias or discrimination. We need a new foundation. AI can't be colorblind. It needs a new calibration. Ethical algorithms, fair and unbiased solutions. Let's bridge the digital gap. Provide equal opportunities. AI for all. Let's answer the call. Ethical and fair. No discrimination at all. Let's use technology to uplift and assist.
Hello, and I hope all is well. I wanted to do this video for quite a long time, as a matter of fact, for over a year. And I've said to myself, I've been waiting, and I got the vibes that I should do this now. Well, you see what's happening? A lot of people are talking about AI, and they're talking about it's a great work of art. It can do so many things. And of course, it's wonderful, and I've spoken about that. But in that level of beauty that you will see, there are some issues that I want to address, especially for the black and brown communities. And I'm going to ask people listening to this to share this video. I'm not asking for it to go viral. I just want you to understand that the black and brown communities will have to pay attention to what's happening. Because if you don't, you're going to be left behind. But let me start off by telling you a story. It was 2006. I was now living in England for over 5 years at that point in time. And I wanted to buy a house. Yes, we decided to buy a house. And we went to the bank and we got approval as it relates to the money. But before the final approval could have been made, they said we needed to do a physical test, examination, a doctor's examination. My wife did hers and I did mine. But what we found strange about that examination, because of course it was done separately, was that we were both examined, let me tell you this, to every level we're examined. And the final analysis was that we're given an HIV test. Yes, to get a mortgage back in 2006, I remembered having to do an HIV test. And I thought it was nothing. Yes, just bear with me a second. I thought it was nothing. However, when I went back to work in the school I was working at that point in time, and told the teachers that I was ready to go on the market as it relates to buying a house. And they said to me, well done. I told them I got approval and the HIV test came out okay. And they said, what? You had to actually do an HIV test? And I said, yes. These white individuals have never ever done a test to qualify for a mortgage. Yes, it happened. And it dawned on me as I saw where there were injustices in the society. How could this be taking place? It was 2006. But remember, they had their systems already. They wanted to calculate the risk. And of course, at that time, that was okay for them, but not for me. But just imagine. Imagine now when all these practices are now embedded in algorithms, because algorithms are languages of discrimination if you do not set them correctly. So therefore, the bias in the system is problematic. Yes, just like what I had to go through and be identified to do a test as it relates to getting a mortgage, AI systems can reproduce these biases and of course lead to greater discrimination. Let me also say that there's going to be displacement as we look at these AI systems coming in together. Yes, automation and AI technology might of course affect more blacks and brown in this country, leading to higher levels of unemployment. Now, let me say that many systems that we're using, of course, they don't consider our privacy. AI-driven surveillance technologies such as facial recognition can, of course, target individuals from the black and brown communities. And for those in the Caribbean traveling, and I'm sure you understand that too when you touch in these countries. Yes, raising the issue of privacy concerns and of course civil liberties will be affected. Digital divide means that Black and brown communities might have less access to AI technology. I am seeing a trend when I talk to individuals from the Black and brown community that they are not interacting with AI tools, and of course, even the simplest. And not to mention healthcare issues, because we know how the healthcare has operated over the years. Just imagine when these algorithms that are designed by individuals not considering our, of course, aspect take hold on us. So AI in healthcare can be potentially dangerous. Example, it might increase disparities. And if these technologies are not designed with equity in mind, it will create problems in an AI-driven society. And of course, it will affect our healthcare provision. Not to mention criminal justice system. AI tools used in the criminal justice system have always been predicting stuff wrong. There's systematic bias against Black and brown individuals when these systems are at times used. Of course, I've mentioned this so many times. Discriminatory algorithms. Not to mention economic inequality. Yes, the wealth gap could be widened. AI-driven economic opportunities are not equitable distributed. Black and brown communities potentially missing out on the benefits. There's so many things happening. You know what I've seen? I've seen where AI production sometimes misrepresents the history of our Black individuals. AI systems that lack cultural awareness and sensitivity will, of course, misrepresent us. And, of course, stereotype Black and brown people, leading to, of course, harmful consequences. And we need to address these issues. Let me also say that AI development, if we are unrepresented in this group, I want to say that the tech industry will continue to reproduce these discriminatory systems. We must address these inequalities if we are truly to have an inclusive AI system. Now, don't get me wrong, there are so many things that I want to say they're good, but I've done a lot of talk about the good. So give me a chance to explain further. Because within the concept of environmental justice, we'll see that AI-driven industries and technological advancement could be, of course, one that leads to environmental injustice, with Black and brown communities more likely to bear the brunt of pollution and climate change impacts, limiting the opportunities for Black and brown people as it relates to housing. We do have a problem that we must address. So when we see the buzz about AI and AI is this, just remember that you are in a position to be adversely affected if you're Black or brown, just like me, as it relates to AI. There could also be financial exclusion when AI financial services like credit scoring algorithms start enforcing existing biases. It's harder for Black and brown people within these communities to access loans and financial product. Let us not forget the crash in 2007 and 8 that sent the housing market down, and who got the blunt of what happened in the United States. I wasn't here, but the history is here, and of course other countries need to know, because when America sneezes, the other world or part of the world gets a cold. And of course, if we do not advocate for ourselves, there could be digital redefining. That is the use of AI in services provision, leading to digital redefining, where Black and brown communities receive inferior services or are excluded altogether. So if you don't have access to AI services and they're using AI, you're going to be further left behind. That is one thing. But being left out in the cold because you can't access an app or an application, come on, we need to think about how it's going to affect us. Let us not forget AI language models that are trained on diverse languages, dialects, could fail to serve non-English speaking individuals. And we can see when these AI voices come out, there's still not a representation of Caribbean voices or various voices that are more authentic to a region. We do not see that. So there is going to be exclusion, and of course, if we allow these things to take place, we'll be left out in the cold. So when they talk about the goodness of AI, remember you are in a position to be adversely affected. And it must be said, I'm not going to play around as it relates to sending the message. The message must be sent. Let us not forget there's a possibility of our culture being erased. AI technologies could prioritize dominant culture and of course push it to us as black and brown people when we have great and in-depth cultural connections that are not mentioned. Yes, these are all possibilities. When there is manipulation and exploitation, black and brown communities could be affected. When AI, of course, is designed to manipulate, exploit, and of course, influence their political, ideological assumptions within these advertisements. Some individuals right now can't tell an AI avatar from a real person, can't distinguish an AI voice from, of course, a natural speaking voice, human that is. And we have not designed anything to protect them. And let me also say, as I wrap up this one, AI-driven health technologies could raise concern about privacy and security of sensitive health data. Many people said, why did these individuals not want to take the COVID vaccine? But let us not forget what they went through. Some of them, they had a Tuskegee issue that happened. So let us not forget that the road for AI actually is promising. But I want the black and brown communities to understand that all these discriminatory practices that you experience and continue to experience, they're going to be filtered in AI. And we must advocate for ourselves, our children, and our grandchildren. We cannot sit down and let another stage of discrimination to continue in its electronic language of discriminatory nature. That's all for now.
We need a change. It's time to rearrange the way we use technology. It's time to break the chains. AI can be the key if we use it responsibly to uplift the black and brown, create a community. No more bias or discrimination. We need a new foundation. Colorblind, it needs a new calibration. Ethical algorithms, fair and unbiased solutions. Let's bridge the digital gap, provide equal opportunities. AI for all, let's answer the call. Ethical and fair, no discrimination at all. Let's use technology to uplift, lift and assist. A future where everyone can coexist.